Hello and welcome to the Anonymous American Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below. Also, I got everything you'll see here is pretty much sourced below. But I also have my links to my YouTube, Dailymotion, Rumble, and also my Gab social media. So don't forget to go ahead and check that out. Definitely stand for free speech. So I really prefer everyone to use Rumble or use Gab and Parler once that comes back up online. Keep hearing bits and pieces of that. But first clip here is going to be breaking news. A explosion happened, a pretty large one, actually, and you'll see in the video how. But it happened in Madrid just earlier today. So here's the clip. Initial reports say it's a nursing home and that it looked like it was a gas explosion, something caused by a gas leak potentially. Again, that's not confirmed. There's no real sourcing behind that other than that's just what's circulating around. So that's as detailed as we can get at the moment. But the next clip here is, of course, the next big breaking news story. El Presidente has been inaugurated. Here is a clip from Joe Biden's inauguration speech, or at least a summary of it. And this really is a summary of the entire event. Everyone went on and on about this stuff. It was pretty much stuck to script and pushed the whole democracy thing pretty hard. So here it is.
Vice President Harris, democracy has prevailed. This is America's day. This is democracy's day. A day of history and hope, of renewal and resolve. Through a crucible for the ages, America has been tested anew, and America has risen to the challenge. Today, we celebrate the triumph not of a candidate, but of a cause, the cause of democracy. The people, the will of the people has been heard, and the will of the people has been heeded. We've learned again that democracy is precious, democracy is fragile, and at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed.
That literally will sum up the entire event for you. So I would say don't even bother looking into it unless you really just want to frustrate yourself. There's multiple key speakers and all that kind of stuff. It's just gotten insane. The next thing here I'm going to show a little picture of is a link to an article sourced below. Again, everything sourced below about Biden's day one executive orders. This has been kind of floating around for a while, but now it's starting to actually solidify. And he's talking about signing 12 executive orders that directly respond to these four crises. He calls it. The four crises here are COVID-19, the economy, the climate, and racial inequity. So it's also talking about how it further expands on Biden's campaign message of Build Back Better. That whole thing that everyone's been talking about is like a conspiracy and stuff. And now we're looking at it and we're like, oh, this is reality. This is what he's talking about, and this is the insanity that has happened. So just to let you know how far governments can go, here's the next one showing you what's going on in the Netherlands, which is getting pretty insane. Let's talk about curfews, restricting flights, stuff like that. I would definitely recommend reading the article in full. Definitely gets to a lot of detail. But it's more shutdowns just after they had protests too. They've had some protests. I mean, a lot of people don't realize these protests happening in the U.S. They act like, oh, it's only here and it's just this few small crazy people. No, it's people all over the world. People in the Netherlands and all of these countries. People in Germany, the U.K., Australia. They're protesting against these shutdowns and this just clear violation of any individual rights. It's definitely gotten quite insane, just to say the least. And then the next one here I'm going to show you is about Texas. This is definitely a very interesting article. This is one, if you're going to walk away reading anything, read into this one. But the general twist is lawsuits, lawsuits, lawsuits. And the thing is, though, the Supreme Court, after what they just did, I don't think it's going to be effective, which is why Texas's backup plan in all of this is hilariously going to be secession. You're talking about putting it on the ballot, and you can't tell me that you can't get a simple 51 majority or more in Texas. In Texas, a state that voted, 8 or 9 points for Trump when they were predicting it was going to be a dead heat or Democrats were 1-2. It's like, that was insane. Even the most Republican skewed ones said 4. And it's like, I'm just looking at that going, this is going to go plus 7. minimum. Like, even if there was a swing, it couldn't be that big of a swing. Like, come on. If it went to that, you'd have to declare election fraud in Texas. That's just a fact of life. There's no arguing that. Obviously, if something like that happened, that's election fraud. But no, instead, that was just a weird pipe dream they had and tried shoving down everyone's throats. But Texas is going to be suing. Will probably be in the news a lot with this administration and try to put a lot of pressure on the Supreme Court. But I have a feeling the Supreme Court doesn't have balls anymore. They could. Hopefully, if they start. They've been standing up for some things in recent orders, or recent cases, I should say. But I just don't know how. They have to get involved. Their hands have to get dirty because Texas is going to pretty much force them to. So, yeah, it's just getting absolutely insane at the moment. And here's a little bit of a funny clip here with Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy. So I thought you guys would find this funny.
Looks like you're not sleeping well.
Believe me, this is going to be the one president that's going to always have to be looking over his shoulder. He's going to be just like Adolf Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, all of those. He's going to have to look over his shoulder and constantly question what could potentially happen around every corner with any person at any time. Like, he's kind of just, he's put himself in that position. He's going to get paranoid. The Democrats are going to get paranoid. This is what happens when you try getting one party control. And that's what it's all about. One party control, just like the CCP and all the others, so that no one else has an opinion. Doesn't matter what you say. Once you control the government, you can spy on campaigns and do all the stuff and the dirty things you did before, which is why it's hilarious. You talk about democracy when you were a part of the administration that tried to limit it under the Obama administration by spying on a opposing campaign with BS evidence. And you know it. You were a part of it. It's just terrible. Terrible trying to sell this as a whole freaking democracy thing. But here's another article here real quick I'll just cover. It just shows that Trump's approval rating, 51%. What a shock. What a surprise. It's, the last day, full day in office, not today, but like yesterday, 51%. 51%. His approval rating, if you've been paying attention to it, I would definitely recommend going to Rasmussen or checking the source and looking at this, and it's just like, yeah, his approval rating from has been steadily going up since the election. The 6th, after it, increased. There's polls before the 6th that showed that 1/3 of Americans thought civil war was imminent, and that was before the 6th. I'm waiting for more polling to come out on that and be accurate, but that's just hilarious. It's just like, like these numbers were already going up, and then that happens, and they go up even more and more and more, which is just going to show you the support for Trump, or at least the other side. It's not really just a person. It's that ideology. The opposing ideology is going to just do nothing but strengthen and strengthen and strengthen. And they're trying to act like it's only going to wither away. And it's like, no, you're going to piss off more and more people. This group is a group of pissed off people. There's no other way of putting it. And you pissed off millions of people, and the number's only going to get bigger. And that's why you're getting paranoid about anyone at any moment killing you, because you basically pissed off half, if not a majority of the nation. So no wonder you've gotten so paranoid. Now, I have posted Trump's farewell address previously, but here's a clip of what he said just before basically leaving office, his final send-off. Little clip here. This is definitely worth watching all the way through till the end.
I will always fight for you. I will be watching, I will be listening, and I will tell you that the future of this country has never been better. I wish the new administration great luck and great success. I think they'll have great success. They have the foundation to do something really spectacular. And again, we put it in a position like it's never been before, despite the worst plague to hit since, I guess you'd say, 1917, over 100 years ago. And despite that, the things that we've done have been just incredible. And I couldn't have done it without you. So just a goodbye. We love you. We will be back in some form.
So he will be back. In one way, shape, or form, it sounds like there's talks of a new party called the Patriot Party and a lot of other things. So something is, I would imagine, have to come up of this. But we know that the conflict in the future is going to be much more difficult, which is why I really want to go ahead and mention this quote from Thomas Paine. His quote is, "The harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph." Again, that's the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. Thomas Paine. So it's going to be one hell of a difficult thing to get rid of the swamp in Washington, but usually the one and only thing you can depend on is that they will eat themselves alive, and hopefully isolated off of us in their own little bubble, they'll just eventually destroy themselves. But that's probably just really wishful thinking. But make sure you don't forget to like, subscribe. You can donate to the Ethereum wallet, which is in the link or in the description below. Everything's below. I would recommend join me on Gab. If you're watching on YouTube, definitely move over to Rumble. And I'm thinking about going to BitChute and possibly other platforms as well, just to get as many eyeballs and earballs on the show as possible. But definitely very new to this and trying to figure out the platforms as everything has changed all within just a short period of time because of the Google companies and everything. But definitely leave a comment, like, subscribe, and let me know what you think of the show and what could be improved or things like that. If you go to the Gab, I definitely post lots of clips throughout the day of my show and other things that are happening. And if you like clips, later on throughout the day, I clip up everything. But don't be afraid to like, subscribe, comment. Also email me at my ProtonMail, which is anonymousamericanpodcast at ProtonMail.com. Thank you, and you have a wonderful day.